So this is the last topic for midterms, tumor immunology. Tumor immunology deals with understanding the role of immune system sa cancer surveillance and what are the different tumor antigens and the concept of carcinogenesis in terms of immunology. So this is like a study in terms of ano yung relationship of the immune system and the cancer cells. So there is certain antigens then that belong to cancers, and in response to that, of course, the host will elicit a certain immune response. So merong mechanisms in which tumors are thought to escape the immune response. Actually, for cancer to develop, meron talaga yung 7 levels of barriers for it to survive. And kasama dyan yung role ng immune system. And for cancer to parang proliferate, it means that it was able to somehow battle certain levels of protection from the immune system. So there are individuals who have higher propensity to develop cancer because of their genetic predisposition. Meron din naman na because of exposure to known carcinogenic compounds from the environment. So in terms of the tumor, ano palang ibig sabihin ng tumor? So we have our normal cells that are following the normal flow of development. While when we say tumor, it is an abnormal growth. But when we refer to the tumor as um, histological characteristics, so group of tissue or abnormal mass of tissue that can form, pwedeng because of cells just grow and divide more than they should, or because the cells that grow are bigger than the normal size. So ang normal cells will grow continuously, and while it is growing continuously, meron din siyang process na some of the old cells will undergo um, programmed cell death or apoptosis. Kasi that's the circle of normal development. If merong nag-grow, meron ding part of the cells that will eventually die out kasi hindi naman unlimited ang growth except if it's a tumor cell or cancer cell. So that certain abnormal group of cells can transfer into a malignant tumor, and that can be influenced by a series of genetic mutation. So what are the classifications ba of tumor? So this one is commonly known. Meron tinatawag na benign, meaning they are composed of slowly growing cells and they are encapsulated. So hindi sila nagsispread all around. They are differentiated and organized. They are just a group of abnormal mass of cells. They don't have a certain um, negative cellular effect in general. But yung tinatawag nating malignant type of tumor, so that is a disorganized mass. So yung cells niya ay abnormal, hanggang sa parang nuclear content. It is invasive and it can spread to different sites of the body, making it metastatic. So, yung malignant tumors can vary in the different degrees of differentiation, and pwede siyang completely undifferentiated or just abnormal cells. So, when that happens, it is considered to be more aggressive and has a poorer prognosis. So, ang malignant tumors din, pwede nating sabihin or i-classify according to sa origin nila na tissue. So, Malignant tumors can be, for example, lymphoma or leukemia, yung na-learn niya sa hima. Pwede ring sarcomas or carcinoma. So, pag sinabi nating lymphoma or leukemias, galing yun sa malignant white blood cells. While pag sinabi naman nating carcinomas, yun yung galing sa skin or epithelial linings of certain organs. So, yung galing sa epithelium. While pag sarcomas naman, those are from soft tissues or bones or joints, mga ganon. So, meron siyang classification based kung saan pala siya galing na tissue or what is a tissue of origin. And in terms of carcinogenesis naman, as what I've said, it is a multi-step process of genetic mutation. So, for it to be able to achieve the phenotype level to allow the cell to change over time, kailangan niya ng maraming levels of mutation. So, carcinogens are substances that can stimulate a normal individual or a cell to transform into a malignant counterpart. So, anong example ng carcinogens? Yung asbestos, yun yung mga nakikita sa daan, from yung sa highway, cigarette smoke. So, that is one of the most common trigger, cigarette smoking. So, it is associated with a lot of cancers, not just lung cancer, but even gastrointestinal cancer, other cancers of the internal organs or lymphomas, meron siyang association. So that's why cigarette smoking and now even vaping has been known to trigger certain carcinogenic potential. Radiation, so exposure to radiation can cause mutation in the cells. Kaya nga if ma-remember nyo yung sa Chernobyl nuclear power plant na sumabog and then exposed several communities to radiation, it eventually led to cancer development years after for those who are exposed to that certain radiation. And also, take note, pathogenic viruses. So, ano yung isa sa common, known, and proven na virus that is oncogenic? That is HPV. So, the human papilloma virus is known to have a propensity to cause cervical cancer. So much so that people are advised to have a vaccine against it before sexual debut. But if nauna yung sexual debut before ang HPV, it's still advised, but at least lesser ang risk of reproductive cancer. So that's one of the triggers. So carcinogen din yung tawag sa kanya. And what are the two major types of genes involved in malignant transformation? So we have what we call as proto-oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes. So ano pala yung proto-oncogenes? Proto-oncogenes. So they stimulate cell proliferation and growth. So pag nagkaroon ng mutation sa proto-oncogenes, they can be converted to oncogene-like genes. Kasi di ba proto-oncogenes, they promote cell proliferation and growth. Pagka nagka-mutation, nagiging unlimited yung growth of the cells abnormally. So, nagkakaroon sila ng DNA sequences that can be found similar to the oncogenes of transforming viruses. So there can be mutations, translocations of chromosomes, and it allows cell to divide uncontrollably. So parang unlimited potential. Immortal cells yung tawag sa kanila. Other examples naman of genes involved in malignant transformation, so yung tumor suppressor genes. So, each healthy individual also can have certain cells that will grow abnormally. However, in terms of excessive cell division, that can be inhibited by the tumor suppressor genes. So yung effect nila is to control the cell cycle, and it will prevent the cells from completing the cell cycle. So you remember yung mga P53 sa mga checkpoints, so they will not allow cells that have damaged DNA to continue multiplying. However, if nagkaroon ng mutation among these tumor suppressor genes, so nawawala yung inhibitory signals, and then the abnormal cells are allowed to continue throughout the cell cycle. So that's one of the major associations of genetic components to propensity to have cancer. If mutated yung tumor suppressor gene, so walang pipigil dun sa mga abnormal cells to continue growing. So it influences the development of cancer. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na tumor antigens. Tumors can contain antigens that are foreign to the immune system. Kasi nga, they are not normal and not found in the immune system dapat. So, merong tinatawag na mutation-derived tumor antigen, or what we refer to also as neoantigen or tumor-specific antigen. So, for the specific definitions of these types of antigens, please refer to your book kasi they separated kung ano yung delineations of each. And then these antigens will now bind to MHC molecules that can be presented to T cells, and then the T cells will now try to stimulate, for example, NK cells ba or cytotoxic T cells to try to destroy kung ano man yung tissue that contains these tumor antigens. So one of the well-known example na mutation-derived tumor antigen ay the fusion protein na pinoproduce ni patient or ni cells from chronic myelogenous leukemia. So this is a byproduct of the translocation nung Philadelphia chromosome. Yung chromosome 9 and 22. So, pag nag-translocate sila and nag-fuse, nagkakaroon ng release of the protein. And then, that will now code for the neoantigen that can be found in chronic myelogenous leukemia cells. And yan yung binabind ng MHC molecules and then present it to T cells. So we have different types of tumor antigens: mutation-derived or neoantigens, antigens from oncogenic virus, cancer antigens, differentiation antigens, and overexpressed antigens. So please take a note of this table, understand it, memorize it, and check kung ano yung mga example. So, yung mga mutation-derived tumor antigens, example niyan, BCR-ABL fusion protein. So, that's from the Philadelphia chromosome ng mga patients na may CML. So, hindi lahat ng CML patients ay merong BCR-ABL fusion or yung Philadelphia chromosome. But the Philadelphia chromosome is associated with CML, and na-find out na if the CML patient has Philadelphia chromosome, mas maganda yung prognosis niya compared doon sa wala. So they are antigens that are created because of mutation. So for this particular example, yun yung pag-translocate ng chromosome 9 and chromosome 22. So from oncogenic virus naman, Epstein-Barr virus, so they are associated with B-cell lymphomas. Melanoma or MAGE, so these are examples of testis antigen, so they are expressed in gametes, kaya nga testis antigens, and they are not expressed in somatic cells. Yung mga differentiation antigens naman, those are antigens that are supposedly found in immature cells of a particular lineage. For example, B cell. So CD10, ALL yung association niya. Halimbawa, AFP. So yung mga cells in developing liver or developing fetus. So it's found out that they have also association with hepatocellular carcinoma. And overexpressed antigens naman, when they are found on higher levels of malignant cells than normal cells. So meaning, they can also be found in both, but if it is increased, it's usually because of cancer. So example yan, HER2, found in breast cancers. So, ano naman yung human viruses associated with cancer? So, ito yung pinaka notable na mga cancer viruses. So, Epstein-Barr virus. So, these are the cancer associations. Hepatitis viruses, so hepatocellular carcinoma, and take note yung human papilloma virus na nagkukos ng cervical cancer and other genital and anal cancer. So, it's always advisable to have vaccines. So, vaccines HPV, sa hepatitis B virus, ganun. So far, wala pang available virus dito, vaccine dito for EBV. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na tumor markers. So, ano naman yung tumor markers? So, they are substances that can be produced by the tumor itself, and pwede rin sila na because of the patient's response to the tumor or a related benign condition. So, anong ibig sabihin? For example, some patients will have increased ALP when they have a bone cancer, ganun. So, that's considered a tumor marker as well. So, merong increased production of that enzyme associated with certain cancers of the bone, or increased levels of LDH in patients na may pernicious anemia. So, nagiging considered as tumor markers din sila. Pero yung pinaka-common na mga ginagamit natin as tumor markers are like the neoantigens also na CA125. So, alam na ba yun? Saan ba yung si CA125? Associated with what cancer? Yan, tama. It's associated with ovarian cancer. Okay, so I know na na-encounter nyo na yan. How about CA153? So, yung associated with breast cancers. CA19. So, yung mga pancreatic and some gastrointestinal cancers, pati carcinoembryonic antigen. So, those are tumor markers as well. So, we have certain criteria for a tumor marker to be considered ideal. So, dapat the tumor itself is the one producing it, or it's a response to the body of the tumor, or response of our immune system to the tumor. So, that should be included in the list of an ideal tumor marker. Next, dapat it can be secreted into a biological fluid like blood. The half-life should be long enough to permit testing and to rise with increasing tumor load, so that we know that we can use it in monitoring. and it should increase to clinically significant levels above reference while the disease is still treatable, and high sensitivity and specificity. So tayo yung nag-set nito kung paano ba dapat yung ideal tumor marker so that we can use the tumor marker for screening, diagnosis, prognosis, and monitoring. So ano yung different clinical uses of tumor markers? For example, CA125, so they are carbohydrate antigens. So we know na they are associated with ovarian cancer, ganun. Enzymes, yung hormones. So these are measurable, clinically relevant na tumor markers. So take note of that and memorize that. So meron pa tayong thyroglobulin for thyroid carcinoma. And what are the common tumor markers? So these are all found in your book. So please take note and read them and study them in your book. So paano yung laboratory detection natin of tumors? We can analyze the morphology, check for immunohistochemistry. So that happens, diba, example sa HEMA wherein we study or analyze the histological markers of blood cells to check kung what type of hematologic cancer ba sila na belong, molecular methods pwede, and immunoassays for circulating tumor markers. So this is interaction of immune system and tumors. So for this illustration, you can see the diagram of immune system or immune defense against tumor cells. So meron tayong different members of the immune systems that are considered as key immune players against tumor. So isa sa pinaka-common si natural killer cell, yung mga cytotoxic T cells, and some antigen presenting cells, helper T cells, and B cells as well. So the natural killer cells will be able to try to recognize and eliminate tumor cells, but hindi nila kailangan ng prior sensitization. So this type of killing will not need MHC. So NK cells can attack tumor cells that lack MHC class 1 expression. So usually it can just directly release substances that will attack those types of cells. So meron din tayong tinatawag na antibody-dependent cellular cytotoxicity by the NK cells. So they will recognize antibodies that are bound to tumor cells, for example yan, and then induce cell death by releasing perforins and granzymes, as you can see. So si NK cells can kill or attack tumor cells even if there is no MHC. So MHC unrestricted killing and antibody-dependent cellular cytotoxicity. While for the cytotoxic T cells naman, here, they will recognize MHC1 on tumor cells, and they will express what we call as yung FAS ligand. So it will bind to the FAS receptors on tumor cells that will trigger programmed cell death. Yung mga antigen-presenting cells naman, so they will process tumor antigens and then present them to helper T cells through MHC2. So parang same lang in antigen presentation, but for this example, so they will analyze the tumor antigens. So yun yung ipoprocess nila and ipepresent nila sa helper T cells. And the helper T cells will now try to coordinate the immune response by releasing cytokines and activate cytotoxicity cytotoxic T cells to improve tumor targeting. And also, sila yung nagtitrigger kay B cells na maging plasma cells to produce antibodies against the tumor antigens. Then, that will enhance the activity ni NK cell and the macrophage. So, ganun ang interaction. So, B cells, of course, it will release the necessary antibodies in response to the tumor antigens. So, minsan, nakaka-activate din sila ng complement system, allowing lysis of the tumor cells. So, that's for tumor cell destruction because of the immune system. So, direct killing. So, that's one. Antibody-mediated cytotoxicity. Complement system activation. And FAS and FAS-L signaling. So, that's from the cytotoxic T cell. So, that's 4. For this particular diagram naman, it shows how the tumors can evolve under immune system pressure. So, merong 3 key stages. Elimination phase. So, that is immune surveillance. So, the innate and adaptive immune system will work together and destroy most tumor cells. So, merong mga tumor cells that will express tumor-associated antigens and MHC class 1 molecule. So, they are readily recognized and eliminated. And what are the mechanisms of tumor cell killing? So, yun yung na-mention earlier. So, this part naman, the equilibrium phase, some tumor cells can escape the elimination. So, they will alter their surface antigens and downregulate MHC1. So, hindi sila napapansin ng immune system. So, the immune system will try to keep these tumor cells under control by preventing them to grow. So, hindi na sila may eliminate completely. They will just try to be triggered to be in dormant state. So, the equilibrium phase can last for years. So, there can happen na yung cancer can be undetected and kasi dumating na siya sa point na nasa equilibrium phase na siya. So, hindi na siya mai-eliminate na immune system but at least man lang hindi siya mag-grow. So, cancer cells will resist immune destruction because of the ability to modify antigens, alter yung MHC class 1, and resistance to apoptosis. So, this one, dormancy stage lang yan, equilibrium phase. Yung last stage, ito na yung escape or the tumor progression. So, the tumor has now fully evaded the immune control. So, naka-release siya sa dormancy. So, it will now produce unchecked and uncontrolled growth. So, nagkakaroon ng chronic inflammation because of that tumor proliferation. So, bumababa yung immune system response. So, nagkakaroon ng immunosuppressive molecule. So, na-inhibit yung immune cell function. So, overall, yung clinical impact, nagiging aggressive na and resistant to treatment na si tumor. So, that is now requiring intense immunotherapy or chemotherapy. So, that's for the levels of tumor progression. So that's it for tumor immunology. Thank you for